Hello, my name is Kim Stewart. In my professional life, I am a director at a facility that specializes in working with children with extremely challenging behaviors. I work closely with my local school districts in hopes of improving attendance scores, educational goals for students, and preparing them for life outside after high school. I decided to use my final project to be something that I could use in my professional life as well. And I looked at Facebook as a learning tool. Is it something that could be integrated in the classroom to make a difference with all of those goals that I'm working with the school districts already on? So I asked myself, well, who is using Facebook? And what I found was a lot of people. So if you yourself are not using Facebook, you probably know somebody who is. And what I found that about 59% of adults are using Facebook, while 90% of millennials are using Facebook. So they're on Facebook every day. It is still the #1 social media of choice. What I found out of those 90%, that 59% of those students were using it during class time. So my thought was, how can we put Facebook in the classroom and use it as a learning tool, because it's a site that they're going to, and for a lot of them, even during class. The big questions I had when I talked to teachers and I talked to students, they were very similar, in fact, regarding privacy. Privacy was an issue that came up a lot. Was it something that students could feel safe and comfortable and confident in expressing themselves? And for teachers, could they keep their personal lives private and still be able to use it as a tool? And that led to the second question, was there educational value in using Facebook and integrating it into the classroom? What I found was that teachers could be set up to really do what they do best, and that's teach. I found a lot of information regarding digital citizenship, and it talked about things that teachers could actually empower students with. What I learned and made sense to me was that a lot of teachers remember a time before social media. They remember a time, for some of us, before computers in everybody's hand. But for the students that we're working with now, it isn't like that. They've always had social media. They've always had computers. For many of them, they don't remember life without cell phones and iPads. So it's really a learning opportunity for both ends. For teachers, we have to remember that for these kids, although parents are their first teachers, parents aren't equipped to always teach students about safety regarding the internet. So that becomes where we can do what we do best, as I said before, which is teaching. We can talk about passwords and how to make sure that they're using safe passwords. Property, understanding how to cite other people's work and how to be respectful of other people's work. And that way they know how to create and put on their own work and expect that for themselves. Professionalism, how to offer feedback, how to critique other students, learning the difference between academic forums and social forums, and really making sure that they don't mix, because they need to know. Employers, colleges, Facebook is another tool for them to get to know who you are as a person. We can also curb social bullying, which was another thing that came up quite a bit, because we can work with students, again, on how to conduct themselves on the internet and understand, almost like a Bill of Rights, but for digital citizenship. There's a thing called digital etiquette. If we create, for a lot of teachers, what they do is they create rules and they ban Facebook, which clearly isn't working. But instead what we can do is we can really guide that behavior and teach students how to be on social media and how to interact and what to expect and what to do if they are not feeling good about what they're seeing. If they're seeing social bullying or anything like that, what power do they have in their hands to do something about it, to recognize it and really act on it? For educators, you can set up fan pages, you can set up different privacy settings, you could also create a group, so that way only certain members can be allowed in. So for us as teachers, it's really important that we get on Facebook and we learn about the different options we have. They actually have on Facebook a site that's for educators only, where it really walks you through how to set a Facebook account up for your classroom and the things that you can do to make sure that you're safe and you're feeling good, but that it's also an educational stop for a lot of your students. As far as educational value in Facebook, what I found were several studies pointing to a lot of positive experiences that happened for both students and teachers. In one study that I researched, students who chose to engage with teachers on Facebook said they felt more connected. They could keep up with in class with other materials. There were supportive links. There were assignment details, deadlines posted. They could get fellow student support. So if they wanted to reach out to another member of the class, they could do that. There was an increase in communication even with the professor or teacher, and also among students. And because it had been set up to be an educational forum, students knew exactly how to act and what to expect. And there was a connection among peers. So real relationships, real connections, networking, all those things were happening just by creating a group that students could join, including their teachers. Another study I found focused a lot on literacy and how this teacher set up different literacy projects in her classroom and what her students gained from that. Students could control more of the learning, so they could kind of set their own pace. If they needed to review things, they had that option. If they wanted to move ahead, they also could get sneak peeks. Or if there was a topic that they were interested in, they could find additional information on that. So that way they could kind of be in control of their own learning, which is very empowering. Teachers could also look at their students, look at their progress, and they could set individual goals and really privately and respectfully set up different things or different areas of interest to really work on those individual objectives that teachers had decided would be very supportive to an individual child's learning. Teachers found that more students were participating. Students that had sat quietly in class or maybe in the back or didn't really have a lot to say vocally in class were participating in Facebook. So they were getting to know them in a different way, really learning about feedback, and other students were benefiting from that as well, from their comments and feedback that they were receiving from these more quiet students. Students learned how to give feedback. They were guided on, what's constructive, how is it helpful, different vocabulary. They expanded their vocabulary words. Students said that they left that class feeling more confident. They felt like they were given a lot of tools on how to act on social media, but to be productive and be taken seriously in that forum. Teachers said they felt more connected to their students. They really got to know them as people and understand their learning styles and what was interesting to them, so that they felt like their objectives were being met and that they really could excel in other things that they hadn't been able to do in the past without Facebook. Teachers felt that it was an opportunity to truly prepare students for real-life encounters using technology. One of the big things I heard from teachers was that they felt they were finally preparing students for something that they truly knew they were going to be able to use and that was going to make a difference in their lives. So overall, what I found was that Facebook absolutely has a place in our classroom with the right teacher, with the right group of students. I would highly recommend any educator get on Facebook and really find out about their options. It's only going to be successful based on the commitment an educator has for it to be successful. But I think it's a hidden opportunity for many of us that we can actually tap in and learn something new about our students and really challenge them in a way that's different and exciting, yet a little familiar. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. I had a wonderful time learning so much about it and telling everybody I knew all the things I was learning. Good luck.